Hey everyone, welcome to Reddit Readout. Today we are checking out Rules Horror. Story 1. UDAs Instructions to Capture the Test Subject. A place to share scary stories which contain a set of rules to follow. A new entity has shown up which we must experiment on to get more information about the unnaturals. You are one of the special forces who's supposed to detain it. Follow these instructions for a safe capture. 1. Check the area for other unnaturals. We cannot let them hinder our operation. 2. Let it know why you're there. If it sees you as a threat, it won't end well. 3. Treat it like human. We do not yet know what exactly it is, but it shows behavior of a human. 4. It doesn't show up on the radar like the other unnaturals. Place a tracking chip on it without letting it know. 5. Do not listen to it, it may be trying to deceive you. Use some headphones if necessary. 6. Get it straight to the facility, do not make any stops. It doesn't matter if you need to eat or pee, we cannot take the risk. 7. In case of an unnatural attack, protect it with your life. You may use your firearms. This may be the key to understanding the origin of unnaturals and ending them. The last team didn't make it back after breaking Rule 2, so do not mess this up. Story 2. Surprise Birthday Party. A place to share scary stories which contain a set of rules to follow. If you've received this, you most likely have been thrown a birthday party by your new friend Dan. Wow! Although, you aren't special. I was before you, and many were before me. You've just met Dan a month ago, he seems nice and he throws you a surprise birthday party. Great! But there's something off now, is there not? Something feels wrong. Wait, you never told Dan your birthday, weird, isn't it? But you're in great danger now, here are some rules to help you. Party until Dan's younger brother, Drew arrives. When Dan introduces you to him, shake Drew's hand. Announce that you think you partied too hard and run into your room until you hear a shriek followed by some monstrous gargling. Better hope that was one of Dan's friends and not your favorite cousin. Once you hear Dan say goodbye to Drew, it's safe to come out. 2A If Dan is there, chat with him on the couch until it reaches midnight. 2B If Dan is gone, run to the front door. This is no longer your house, it's Sarah's. 2B1. If Sarah doesn't stop you, you're in great danger. Shut your eyes and hope it will be quick and painless. 2B2. If Sarah stops you, say you forgot something at home. She should let you outside. Run to the end of the street as fast as you can. 2B3. It should be dark outside and the street should be Dulnary Lane. Shut your eyes until the screaming stops. 2B4. If it's light outside, the street should now be your street name. Go back home. 2B5. If it's still dark, keep shutting your eyes and checking until it's light. 3. The next morning, there will be a knock at your door. If they knock once, it's a family member or a friend. If they knock twice, lock all of your windows and doors. Go back to sleep immediately. If they knock 3 times, it's Dan. Say hello and let him inside. 4. Once Dan is inside, lock all your windows and break the nearest mirror. 4. Once Dan is inside, open the nearest window, he likes the fresh air. 5. Ignore the Girl Scouts at your door. They're Drew's puppets. 6. If Dan says any sequence of numbers, write them down. They may be important to you in the near future. 7. Have a cup of tea with Dan. He prefers his tea with no sugar and a dash of milk. 8. Put a clover in Dan's tea. Dan loves clovers. Put a clover in Dan's tea. Dan loves clovers. Put a clover in Dan's tea. Dan loves clovers. Put a clover in Dan's tea. Dan loves clovers. 8. Dan is allergic to clovers, he likes his tea garnished with the leaves of a strawberry. 8. Dan is allergic to strawberries. Put a clover in Dan's tea. Dan loves clovers. 9. Only trust rules in all lowercase, they're here for you. Only trust rules in all lowercase, they're here for you. Only trust rules in all lowercase, they're here for you. Only trust rules in all lowercase, they're here for you. 9. Do not trust rules in all lowercase. 10. Say goodbye to Dan, you will not see him again. Write out the rules for the next person to have a surprise birthday party. Story 3. The Purple Fog. A place to share scary stories which contain a set of rules to follow. Sometimes when a fog is too complicated to document, we omit it from the regular rule books and create a separate, specialized entry for it. The purple fog is one such event that warrants such treatment, and to call it strange would be an understatement. It does not deal with flora, electricity, or death, but rather dreams, and the most difficult thing about it. What happens is slightly different for everyone. However, we have managed to piece together something resembling a rule set based off the stories from survivors' own personal experience, so in the event that a purple fog comes through our town again, we can all be prepared. Listed below are the properties and rules of survival for the purple fog. 1. The purple fog has no harmful properties in the real world. When it appears, you may go about your day and do any tasks you wish as there is no abnormal danger that comes with it. The fog will also last for about only 1 day, and is the only event to have a consistent time frame. 2. The dangerous properties of the fog manifest when a person goes to sleep, and will affect their dreams to kill them. Unfortunately, because the dreams of every person are different, we cannot provide one specific rule set. However, keep in mind that things that will kill you here will kill you in the real world. 3. There are 2 types of scenarios that happen when a person falls asleep during a purple fog, which can be divided into nightmares and dreams, both of which can be dangerous. Nightmares. Nightmares seem to be the most common of the 2 scenarios to happen to a person during the purple fog, and from interviews, we can assume that they happen when a person in a negative mood falls asleep. They are by far the more terrifying of the 2 events. Surviving one is a matter of wits and luck. 1. In a nightmare, your worst fears will manifest. Those afraid of monsters will be faced with monsters, and those who fear war will be caught in the midst of it. Remember that everything in your nightmare can hurt you, so avoid any dangers you see. 2. The stronger your emotions, the more dangerous your nightmares become. If you cannot control your emotions, the situation will only become worse and spiral out of your control. Stay calm. 3. It's recommended that you run from anything you see in your dream. Nightmares were made off your worst fears, so it's best to not trust anything that you see. 4. To escape from a nightmare, you need to do one of 2 things, though there may be more methods we have not yet discovered. 4a. First, if you find a glowing white door, stepping through it will bring you out of the nightmare. These doors seem to appear in random locations, but will always remain somewhere within your radius. However, it may be dangerous to search for one while other creatures are still around. 4b. By surviving for around a day inside your dream, you'll wake up and be free of the nightmare. It is the simplest method of escape, though it may be difficult. Nightmares can be extremely dangerous, and unfortunately, since they are different for everyone, we cannot create a perfect guide. However, these guidelines should still prove useful if you are caught in one, so please remember them. Dreams. Dreams are mostly theorized to exist. It's hard for us to create a rulebook on them because only one person has escaped one. They seem to happen when someone falls asleep in a positive mood, and simply grant them anything they want. The problem here is that from the one witness we do have, it seems that what people are offered is so tempting that they never want to leave. However, one witness is good enough for a small few rules, so here's what we have figured out. 1. Everything in the dream is fake. It may seem real on the surface, and it will have everything you could ever want, but none of it is real. If you can't accept that, you'll stay in the dream until your body expires. 2. Declare that you want to leave. That's the only method of escape that we know of, but if you seem to be in a dream, make it clear you want out. 3. Don't get addicted to the things the dream is offering you. It isn't real, but if you start believing that it is, you will never return to the real world. 4. Get out of there as soon as you can. The longer you stay, the harder it is to resist. You'll get caught up in excuses, thinking that you'll only take one more day, and end up staying forever. Escape before you die of starvation in the real world. I have never experienced one of these dreams for myself, but from our one survivor, I can understand why it trapped hundreds of people in a coma that eventually killed them. The person who survived was actually never happy again after he left. I'll spare you the details, but he was lost not too long after. It's a terrifying one, the purple fog. When it swallows the town, it does nothing until you fall asleep. It might be fine on the surface, but once you're deep inside a dream, things can go bad quickly. I hope you'll make it through this night alive, and I wish you good luck. Story 4. Welcome to the In-Between Hayrace How to Survive Part 1 The Factory. A place to share scary stories which contain a set of rules to follow. Welcome to the In-Between friend, I'm your fellow inmate here, or at least that's what I am in comprehensible terms, but never mind that. I've already caused the necessary chaos for you to get out of here, and once you step out of this cell, you'll be in a new area. You're here because you've angered him, and that is serious around here. He has planned to keep you here for eternity, but I have given you the opening. I assume you want to get out of here, but I have just a few things to tell you first. As soon as you step out of this room, you will either be put in an abandoned factory or in your own house. I say that with quotation marks because we both know that isn't your real house. If you find yourself in the factory, you assume the role of an employee, specifically a security guard. This means you are equipped with a handgun, a flashlight, an assault rifle, and basic tactical gear. Do not get overconfident, this will not save you. Your main objective is to escape this abandoned factory. Anyone who is your friend in the past becomes your number one enemy. Your enemies become your good friends or your guides in the factory. It may be hard, but you'll just have to trust them. Anyone you have not met before can assume any role, but there is a higher chance they are not your friends. Let your past enemies figure it out for you. They will let you know what to do via telepathic message. If at any time one of your past enemies does not comply or help you in a situation, they are not your friend. You have been tricked by a shapeshifter. This could be your past friend or a neutral, in the case of your past friend. Pray, because you are already dead. If your past enemy does comply, you can now trust them. They will not falter in any other scenario. If they somehow do falter, refer to Rule 15. If you ever hear screaming, crying, or any sort of discomfort, you should head toward the sound. You can help that person. If the screaming, crying, or any sort of discomfort is distorted, get as far away as possible from that distortion. Failure to do so and you will have 20 seconds before you're gonna wish you were dead. Please, refer to Rule 15. There will be food supplies all around the area. Feel free to consume some. The entities have no interest in messing with them. Just don't overeat. There is no punishment to overeating, but you don't want to cramp when you're running away. Make sure to also eat in 2 or more hour intervals. Continuously visiting food supply will make your movements predictable to the entities. If you hear stomping footsteps, hold your breath and don't make a sound for 15 minutes. If you still hear stomping, fire your gun and make as much noise as possible. This will distract the entity and scare it, causing it to run away. If at any point you enter a dark room, you're fine, until you see red eyes. If you do immediately stare at your past enemies, if they don't have green eyes in the dark they are a shapeshifter, refer to Rule 15. If your past enemies have red eyes, they are just other monsters who have killed your past enemies in the midst of the dark. If this happens, refer to Rule 15. The first red eyes are just initial eyes. They belong to an entity, but that entity will not attack you at all unless you continue to stare at it. Execute this rule if any of the aforementioned rules with refer to Rule 15 take place. Use your handgun and your handgun only to blow your brains out. This is the one part of the body that the entities cannot restore. This quick death will be much better than whatever they will be planning to do to you. If at any time you don't feel an overwhelming sense of calm, despite past unsettling scenarios, Ignore all rules circumstances and lead yourself and your past enemies to the closet. This will keep you safe. The closet is actually a portal back to where we are right now, but when you again walk through the door, you will resume where you were before you felt unsafe. I will let you know when it is safe to return. If the factory's lights glow red at any time, congratulations, you are safe, your shift is over and you are free to leave. If the factory lights glow any other color, you will be transported to hell shortly. If any other scenario that I haven't mentioned takes place, rely on your past enemies or run to the closet to me. I will never be hostile and no one can ever pose as me. The portal to here from the closet will always be open. When the lights flash red, your past enemies will reveal themselves, then they will tell you the truth that they were also entities. Everyone here is an entity and you were the only real one here. Then they will fight the others to make sure you can escape. The others include me, not willfully. If you ever, and I mean ever, try to escape before the lights turn red, I will sadly have to rip out your spine and force it down your throat slowly and painfully. I am sorry for the inconvenience. I am not doing this by my own will. That's all for today. Please don't forget to like and subscribe.